Hi, good evening, Paul. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another late night stream of mine. As you see, I am doing UBOAT again. And yeah, welcome, Paul. Hope you're fine. How are you doing? How was your Friday? Now it's weekend. So I know that I don't have to tell you, Paul, but let's take a look at that. I don't have to tell you, Paul. Let's take a look at. Oh, I've got an echo. Why do I have an echo? Yeah, all right. Echo turned off. Not quite sure if you did hear it in the stream. Okay, interesting. Interesting that I get the echo on my headphones, but it's not in the stream. Yeah, but that's reassuring. Okay, so you have been doing a bit of DayZ again today. Okay. So let me give those guys of you who are not regularly in my stream, let's give you a little overview. I am off the coast of Canada. That's my second, or I think it's even my third trip that I did over the big pond towards Canada. And yeah, I'm doing the Operation Drumbeat, Paukenschlag, as it was called in German, and we already did this one here with 50,000 tons, and if we now sink another 50,000 to a total of 100,000, we will reach the next level, and that's my goal, to get more milk cows which we can deploy across the ocean. So we are in June 1942, which means we are more than 1.5 years, 2.5 years in the war. And yeah, as you can see in the title, I'm doing a complete playthrough. That means I did start in the very beginning of the war in 32, September 32, with a very small, tiny, badly armed, low range, low speed submarine, and earned my merits. And by now I am the proud captain of a type 7C, which is fairly okay. It's fast, it has a long range, and since a while I do have a milk cow available, and I placed it here, so whenever I cross the Atlantic, I first meet my milk cow and refuel, and then go for the target area for my patrol, and afterwards I go back to the milk cow, refuel for the trip back over the Atlantic. That's pretty nice how you do it. Otherwise the fuel would be, I wouldn't have much time in the target area if I couldn't refuel on the way, because the travel to this area would take 30%, the travel back would take 30%, so if I give a bit of a margin of 10 to 20%, I'd only have 20% of fuel for spending it in the target area. So it's pretty comfortable that I can do it like that. And now we are actually close to a convoy which we have been chasing yesterday, and by now I think I could turn my course. I should turn my course by 90 degrees to get myself close to that convoy. So I had been detecting this convoy with hydrophone, and by hourly or bi-hourly hydrophone checks I figured out that their course must be something like that, and I interpolated their speed to be roughly 7 knots. And so I intercepted them, roughly knowing their course, and put myself right into their way. And now I will do something that I already did successfully in the past. I will just dive and let myself infiltrate into the bypassing or overpassing convoy. That's the plan. Oops. So at the moment they're still pretty far away. And I am at the southern edge of the convoy. You could actually see how the convoy is arranged. Like they are having ships in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ships in a row, and then another row. And so I'm even a bit southerly of this row, I guess. You can see it by the arrangement of the steam clouds. And yeah, there we have a side view on these ships, on these rows. Yeah, guys, good evening. Nice to have you in. Another late night stream, although right now it is not yet that late night, I have to admit, but it's gonna be. Definitely gonna do something like 3-hour stream. That's the plan, at least. Yeah, tomorrow it's Saturday, so we can sleep long. Yeah, let's do it. Let's hope that we now can harvest what we seeded yesterday. So yesterday it took us a while to go for them. Well, actually, yesterday we were not completely lazy. We sank one single relatively large ship. So if we look at our status, we have already sank almost 8,000 tons, so we just need to sink a ship of 2,000 tons, which should be pretty straightforward. So one more ship and we would have fulfilled the mission. That doesn't mean that we return back, because we then could still roam the area as long as we have torpedoes and fuel, and see if we can hunt down some more victims. So, bilge. Well, for the sake of completeness, let's turn on the pump for just a little while. Let's check the galley. It is fine. 2 different types of food, which ensured, yeah, varied dishes gives us +4 of moral, and yeah, at the moment we are at 100%. Fuel, 85%, that's fine. And yeah, we have reduced battery capacity. That's because, yeah, when we did the chase to intercept the convoy, we were always going flank speed and doing dives every 2 hours. And the dives actually, yeah, used up battery, and when you go flank at the surface, you can't reload the battery. And now I have reduced speed. Now that we are right in front of the convoy, we don't have to hurry anymore. And yeah, now we are going with cruise speed, which gives the mapped maximum battery reload power. By the way, look at the time. It is 20 to 11 in the evening right now. So the sun should be setting in the west, so I can't be quite sure. It's overcast, cloudy, so I don't know if the sun has already set or if it's just hidden behind the clouds. It's a bit uncertain because around here our clock still shows Berlin time or Greenwich, I'm not quite sure. And yeah, we have this time shift of, yeah, help me. I think it would be at least 4 hours, maybe 5 hours of time shift from Berlin to offshore northern or western eastern eastern Canada. And that means that when we have a sunset here, a local sunset at something like 7 o'clock, the sunset according to our Berlin time would be at 11 o'clock. So it is gonna be dark soon. Let's just hope that we can see action before it really gets dark, because what I really don't like is night attacks. So dawn would be perfectly fine, but at the moment I'm a little bit nervous that maybe it will take us too long to actually infiltrate, and that when we are in the convoy that we don't have sufficient light anymore to get some clear targets. That might become a problem. Yeah, Paul, you are playing DayZ on an interestingly modded server. So already yesterday you mentioned some kind of loot that I never ran into before, or a baguette. On the servers that I used to play, there are no baguettes, or maybe they are rare and I just didn't find them yet. Oui, baguette. Je ne parle pas français at all. And that's not much of an understatement. Just gonna say that sentence. And things like Je suis Josh. Et tu? Yeah, I wish I could. Actually, I never had French lessons at school. And yeah, it's only a bit of some courses that I once did job-wise. Yeah, batteries recharging would be good if we were back to 100% battery charge when we dive again. That is suboptimum if we run into them and attack them with not fully loaded battery, because usually the chase takes hours and hours. But yeah, my experience is that the bottleneck usually more is the air quality, which gives you trouble earlier than the battery capacity. I actually have pretty good batteries by now. Upgraded them already several times with recent developments. Okay, they are still all hull down. Only the smoke columns are visible. Yeah, these single ones, they probably are destroyers. They are escorts, men of war, and all those ships which are nicely in a line, they are probably merchantmen. Pretty shitty weather. medium wind, 15 knots of wind speed is quite some wind, but it's not too bad yet. So you see we have just moderate waves at the moment. Now let's erase these. That's the extrapolated course. Plenty of ships. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 ships at least. But they are still all hull down. Only the smoke columns are visible over the horizon, so the encounter will still take a while. Let's just hope that we have long enough daylight. And there is one guy flanking to the very left. That is 100% sure that is a man of war, this smoke column over there. By the way, can you see the smoke columns in the stream? Of course, resolution in the stream is always a bit less than I have here on the screen. So, yeah, let's take the binoculars then it's clear to see. So I guess that maybe these three columns here, they might be men of war, and these nicely lined up columns are probably, pretty sure, merchant men. And then there is this, this one. I have to take care about that one. That's a freely roaming escort for sure. So the escorts, they're changing course again and again, circling around the convoys. And meanwhile, while we are progressing in the war, the game becomes really more and more tough, and the convoys are much better guarded now than they were 2 years ago or 1 year ago. Like, it might be that a convoy like that might really be encircled by something like 12 escorts, nicely lined up in a circle all around the merchantmen in the center. So that makes it very hard to get into the center without getting noticed. Still only smoke columns, no hull up yet, so no risk yet to be spotted. Even when they're hull up, I still have a bit of time because my spotting cross-section is much less than theirs, and now I'm heading straight for them, giving them the minimum area to spot. That's possible. Okay, batteries are recharging, but we still haven't yet reached 90% of battery capacity. By the way, let's take the opportunity to do a new save game. W198. Don't remember why I called this 1W, just to kind of differentiate it from other saved careers. Hey, have they changed course? Looks a bit like that. But this might be an artifact also. Might be an artifact from the time acceleration. Okay, this guy might mean trouble. Yeah, it looks like they all unisono have changed course, and that's well possible. Of course, when the merchantman spots your periscope, it does start doing some micro zigzagging, but in general, meanwhile, the strategy of them convoys is to do some large-scale zigzagging, and maybe they just have changed their course according to that.
Kurs setzen. Kurs setzen.
So this one is hull up. See the hull of that one and the masts. Maybe it's the right time now to give it a dive. What about, 90% of battery capacity?
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Schneider. He is doing regular torpedo maintenances. Yeah, only a well-maintained torpedo has, I think almost 100% reliability. And if the torpedo is not maintained, you have considerable risk that it goes dud. Even if you score a hit. Oh, it's raining. Getting more and more rainy. the save and try some more time acceleration. At 92 battery capacity.
Alarm! Konvoi in Sicht!
Yeah, come on. Let's dive. Let's dive, guys. Let's be on the safe side and go to periscope depth. But guys, you can step away. You can step away from battle stations for now. So what happens? Mr. Grad has just opened the valves so that we are flooding the ballast tanks. Depth steers are being manned, the crew, off-watch crew running to the front compartment, to the for torpedo room. And here you see the water rushing into the ballast tanks. So we should be diving any minute. Yeah, we should be pretty well visible against the setting sun, but we are still far away. Don't think that there was any risk that they spot us. Hey, Super 5. Yes, it is. It is dangerously addictive. Wow, you did a whole campaign. At 90% difficulty. Wow, yeah, cool. Never did that, actually. I never went completely through a campaign. Let's see if I'm gonna manage to do it with this one here. Problem is that sooner or later there will be the update, which will probably not be compatible to the old saved games, and then I'm really in trouble whether I would stick to the old version of the game and finish my campaign, or yeah, follow my curiosity on the updates and start a new campaign. Yeah, okay, you did it. You did it. Yeah, that's what I heard. The last year, 44, 45. That it's a hell. Yeah, respect that you actually did it. The DLC, yeah. Yeah, come on, they didn't give any date yet. Yeah. I hope that it will come soon, yeah. Although then I will have to do this terrible decision making. By the way, how are you? Super 5, hope you had a good Friday. Hope you had a smooth slipping into the weekend. Yeah, 25 hours for them, yep. Yeah, same here, Super 5. Yeah, as you might clearly hear from my accent, I'm German and I'm streaming from Germany, and we just have the same time like you have. Yeah, I used to do the streams pretty late. It's like, yeah, after work and after having spent the evening with my wife and the family, and then at one point in time I do have some free time to do the streaming, and so it depends a bit. So this week I had several days where I could sleep a little bit longer in the morning, but usually or often I only stream on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And actually tomorrow there will be no stream, sorry lads, because we are off for the place of my parents-in-law. My father-in-law, he just went 80 this week, and so we are gonna pay him a visit. There will be not a big party, but yeah, just brother and sister of my wife and families, and just some little small family sit-in, although still quite a lot of people actually then. No.
Ja.
Let me do one thing before I forget it later. I want to have my chief engineer supporting the depth keeping, so I can tell him to do some smart assing for the two crew hands who operate the depth steers, and this that prevents us from broaching the surface. That's always the risk, particularly when you have heavier waves. It's always the risk that you kind of get through and your conning tower would become briefly visible, and this is actually heated in the game. So if that happens, there is some increased probability that they actually spot you. So it's a good idea to try to prevent that. Hey, I think the first stop, you mean the Type 2, right? Hey, I really can't imagine to get over the Atlantic with the Type 2. So in the beginning you just have one milk cow, and you wouldn't even if you would place the milk, you wouldn't even reach the Black Pit area with Type 2. I think you couldn't do it. I really think you couldn't do it. Okay, there is a big baby. So
Konvoi in Sicht. Peilung 15 Grad.
I think I would like to go for that one. Let's check the others. Mostly still hull down, only the smoke column visible. Yeah, that's definitely a man of war. Pretty sure. Yeah, let's keep fingers crossed. My gut feeling tells me that there are not too many men of wars with that convoy, but we will see. Yeah, but to get the 7 milk cows, you have to do missions, which I think you couldn't do with the Type 2. Well, I don't know. By the way, I didn't yet find out how I could place several milk cows at the same time. But yeah, I will deal with that later. Meanwhile, I should have 2 milk cows. Yes, yeah, well, as I said, on the one hand, I'm eagerly awaiting the DLC, and on the other hand, I'm afraid, because then I have to make up my mind whether I would continue this playthrough or start a new game with the new DLC active. So let's do some hypothetical course. So this column, they might be moving on this course, or maybe a little bit closer, but definitely in parallel. I'm pretty sure that this course that I extrapolated is correct. So they could be something like 6 miles away. That looks really reasonable. I think it's this one. It's a C3 again, isn't it? Yeah. And the velocity is 7. Yeah, they could go much faster, but when they are locked in a convoy, they can just go as fast as the slowest ship in the convoy. Could imagine that they are actually there. Something like that, who knows? Yeah, but at the moment they are more moving like that. That's pretty tough. So yeah, they are zigzagging on their general large-scale course on the map, so that makes it pretty difficult to track them down. Yeah, same for me. Very curious. I'm just a little bit worried because they still don't make any announcement about the release date. Hey, Bobo, long time no see. Nice to have you in. Yeah, thanks for the dropping in. Hi. Nice to hear of you again, or say, read of you again. How are you doing? How was your week? How was your Friday? And, well, how were your last weeks? What have you been doing in terms of gaming? So, what it could be is that they are zigzagging on a 45 degrees course. So, like if I have this overall course observed, Maybe they are going something like this, this, this. So always making 90 degrees course changes, but well, in 45 degrees plus or minus 45 degrees towards their general course. So that would mean that at the moment they would be on a course like that. Well, possible. Yeah, lots of work. You have to help me. What is Meta Quest? Is there something that I've missed completely? Yeah, that's my guess, that they're moving with something like 45 degrees to this course that I estimated. By the way, guys, there are quite a few guys dropping in. I just see the number of watches going up. So thanks very much for joining. It's a pleasure to have you in. And yeah, don't hesitate to participate in the chat, although maybe sometimes the chat looks pretty private. It's not. So just give me some feedback. That's why I do this, because I love to have that kind of conversation via the chat. But yeah, of course it's perfectly fine if you just lurk silently. Always also happy to have a few people watching. Yeah, okay, alright, boo-boo. Yeah, it was a pleasure to hear of you again. So, yes, have a good night, and maybe see you the next days. By the way, tomorrow I'm not gonna stream, I mentioned it. There is a birthday to be celebrated with my father-in-law, but yeah, maybe next week. So see you and have a good night.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Yeah, let me change course like that. And see how it looks like then. Maintenance condition of the torpedoes. Maybe torpedo tube 3 might want to have some maintenance, so let's give it. Alright guys, this is military. So I really have to make sure that they don't spot me. I have to be more careful and getting the periscope down. Anything else? There was this outliner. come on, they have changed course by now, haven't they? They have turned around. Yeah, come on. They have turned around. And I'm pretty sure that they are zigzagging back. So that's him at 30 degrees.
Kurs setzen.
So I think by now they are going on that course. Well, this one is really closing in. I think I have to retract my periscope for now. Yeah, let's get the periscope down for a little while. So now let's turn off the gyro. And guys, we are going on silent running. Hey, weight loss, good evening. Nice to have you in. So, finally, at last it's weekend. How was your day? Have you been streaming? I just briefly checked 1 or 2 times this day on my mobile, but I think I didn't see you. But it might have slipped my attention. Oh, nice. Nice. Gonna watch that one. Yeah, it's your fault actually that I went back to Fallout 4 by myself. I didn't stream it, and I think I won't, but I've been playing it on my own for quite some hours in the last months. I very much like the game. Yes, I mentioned it, yeah. Oh, it's him again. That's the man of war. That's the guy I want to get. So let's reduce speed. Let's estimate the distance. Okay, still pretty far away. Is it realistic? But it's that far? Whatever.
Entfernung zum Ziel 8, 6, 3, 7
so
Meter.
Minus 65 degrees it is. There they are.
Auf diese
Ah, no,
Koordinaten setzen.
don't. So the angle on bow would be pretty shallow. 24. Let's correct that. Something like that. I don't know, but that one with the raised nose, that is exactly how the milk cows look like, right? Yeah, weight loss, that was what I thought. Pretty much sounds like a milk cow. But I don't know if you saw it in the chat, but Super5 just said that he just finished a whole playthrough ending in Argentina. So Super 8 you can exchange with weight loss. He did it just a few weeks ago as well. Oh shit, that's the military one. They are just too close. I really have to take care that they wouldn't spot us. Get the periscope down and maybe
Alle Maschinen
just
stopp.
come to a complete stop and just wait until that target of mine would move in. Give it a save. And maybe a little bit of time acceleration. Five minutes. Oh, I'm so afraid of putting up the periscope because this man of war is so close. So it takes ages until the guy comes in. But maybe now I can take advantage of the very, very faint light conditions. Maybe that helps us to stay hidden. Of course, sooner or later they might switch course again. That's it. Distance once more.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren.
Oh, they are
Entfernung zum Ziel 7, 8,
coming
5,
in
0
very,
Meter.
very slow. Might be that they change course again, but no problem. I'm just waiting here. I'm right in front of them. It's just fine. Yes, yeah. That's right. when you're just about to dock, when you're in the harbor and then you get an air raid. That's really tricky. I once had that. And yeah, I didn't reload afterwards. I really accepted the result, but the result actually was that I lost my captain. So we survived and we quickly got out of the port and dived, but until then we got terribly damaged and we lost the captain and one crewmate. They both went overboard, and I think another officer actually. And that's the reason why now my back then first bosun now is the captain. He got promoted.
Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 270 Grad.
There they are. Coming in. It's get dark quickly now, so I might get
Aktualisieren.
into trouble.
Entfernung zum Ziel.
I
7,
might really
9,
get some
5
trouble
Meter.
with addressing the target. Yeah, see what happened? They just changed course. They are zigzagging. They're doing a 90-degree zigzag around their main course. Sure they did. That's amazing to see that.
Aktualisieren. Entfernung zum Ziel 7, 9, 2, 3 Meter.
This one might also be military. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, exactly. It was when I was going out. Yeah. Yeah, I think I only had that once when I did this northern mission where you have to get to that island and find some, I think, some refugees on the island, right? Isn't it that? And that island actually vanished once. Or wasn't there, but I came there. In total, the game, from my point of view, is relatively stable. So get the scope down again. And change course. Yeah, well, possible, yeah. So, yeah, isn't it like the game's pretty stable, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't have any real crashes since months. few months ago I had several. Within 1 or 2 months I had 2 or 3 crashes, but not any since then. Hey guys, great to have you in. Yeah, just see the number of watches going up. Yeah, that always makes me happy. So, I mean, why do you stream? You stream because you kind of like that other people like what you do. So, always feel a bit of satisfaction if there are a few people in the stream, and it could make me a bit more happy if you give me some comments in the chat. Tell me what you think about the stream, about the gameplay, or generally about the game, or might even give me a follow. But as I used to say, don't feel pushed. Perfectly fine if you just lurk. Now 23 liters of water in the bilge. That's pretty uncritical. Yeah, same for me. I also run completely without mods still. Although there are quite a few mods which make me curious. Okay, let's check again. What's the location of the ship? There it is. Hey, if you ask me, it looks like they're moving. They are not moving at all. Are they? But yeah, that can't be. They are zigzagging, so they are moving. Yeah, the determination of the distance will be more and more tricky the darker it becomes. Hey, looks like they are still pretty far away.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung 703, 6 Meter.
And what about the other guys? The man of war. Okay, it's lurking there silently on the water. I really have to be careful about that.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Yeah, I mean, the point is that the game by itself is already great. So I'm always afraid if I have a great game, I'm always afraid that I might kind of fuck it up with installed mods. Make it worse because maybe the mods are not balanced or create crashes or, yeah, create some kind of weird effects. And then you never know if weird things happen and you have a mod working. Is it due to the mod or is it just a general problem? So maybe I miss a lot of fun, but usually on first instance I avoid installing mods for these reasons. Mr. Schneider, please do some maintenance. Yeah, the crew lists, right? The crew lists are a bit of a pain in the ass. There are things that you could do much better, like the addressing of watch groups and things like that. It's just a minor thing if you see how great the game actually is. But yeah, they could do something about that. But yeah, maybe they are so nerdy about their own game that maybe they just don't recognize how awkward these crew management user interfaces actually are. Discipline is still high. We have an experienced crew, and this gives us plus 20% in discipline, so we are still at 100%. Very slowly dropping. Yeah, when we are on Schleichfahrt, on silent run, the galley has to be turned off, and that's why discipline is dropping now, because the crew doesn't get any food while we are on silent running, or alarm, by the way. That's right, because the crew interface, that's really something I think that might piss off people at the beginning. It has quite some steep learning curve. So in the beginning you might just be, yeah, driven back by that. So that was also for me in the very beginning. I didn't play the game too much until I actually figured out how the crew management actually works. Well, I think they actually improved things in that phase, and in the beginning it just wasn't a grown-out game, but yeah, this understanding of the crew management, that's really vital to have fun in the game. Yeah, they're doing a great job. They're constantly working on the game. That's just great.
Corvette, 45 Grad. Aktualisieren. Entfernung 5, 8, 4, 5 Meter.
By the way, let's check the Corvette.
Küstenschiff 25 Grad. Küstenschiff 25 Grad.
Yeah, they are pretty risky.
25 Grad.
Pretty risky now to get spotted
40 Grad.
by the Corvette. So let's stay silent, just moving very slow putting away the periscope again. Yep. Yeah, Super 5, that pretty much, yeah, pretty well describes what I think just as well. Yeah, this game is maybe, it's a bit nerdy, isn't it? But on the other hand, it would help. Or it wouldn't harm, yep. We are still not yet detected. That's good. Yep. Yeah, that's right. That's quite right. Hey, for example, DayZ is also a nerdy game, isn't it? I mean, who would have expected that people would like to play a game where you collect stuff and get strong and then just get headshot and get a black screen without even getting the information what happened to you? You could just guess that somebody from a bush shot you in the head, and still millions of people like the game. That's so amazing. Yeah, nerdy games could really do it. Yeah, and that's a piece of luck. So we have again and again beautiful independent games. Which are a pleasure, a treasure. Yeah, just a bit of water in the bilge, completely uncritical, I would say. Yeah, we need to do some more maintenance on the torpedoes. Yes, let's do a little bit. Did they change course again? Did they? Yeah, they have changed course again. They definitely did. So let's give it an estimation again about the distance. Let it be 25 miles.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren.
Maybe.
Entfernung zum Ziel 4, 7,
30
4, 2
degrees.
Meter. Lage 3, 5, Bug rechts.
30 degrees,
Geschwindigkeit
25.
Knoten.
Distance 1, 2, something like that. So I would guess to have them Probably there at the moment. And the angle on bow subsequently would be something like 30 degrees. What do I have? Yeah, not too bad. So they are really keeping good track of the angle on bow. That sounds reasonable. And if it's moving on that course, maybe now it's the right time to go in for the final approach. I should take the time. Yeah, I should have used the timer to check in what time distances they actually turn and change course for that zigzagging. But that's exactly what is happening. They are following that general course and they are doing a zigzag course like that, 45 degrees towards the original course, always changing course for 90 degrees every other time. I just missed to check what the timely distance between the change of courses is. Yeah, that's amazing. But, well, so did he have some kind of a professional 737 sim? Or is it just that he has such an incredible game rig? You wouldn't manage to put 250,000 euros in a rig, yeah. I think probably you mean that he invested that into the sim, right? Maybe there is some kind of a pro simulation which is far beyond X-Plane or Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now again, maintenance status. Give me the 4. Maybe Mr. Arlos. Number 1 as well. Could you? Maintain. Then do number 2, please. Because now I think we are really closing in for the final, hopefully, the final kill. Raise the periscope again. And hope that we still have... Wow, it's getting so dark by now. But we still have some eye on that guy.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung zum Ziel 3, 9, 7, 9 Meter.
So it's minus 60 degrees. Bit more than 2 miles.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
1, 2. Yeah, should be there by now. And the angle on bow being something like 25 degrees, roughly. Hey Volvolo, good evening. Ahoy. Great to have you in. You're just approaching the chat while we are approaching a c5 for hopefully being it the final kill. Wow, yeah, amazing. What about torpedo tube 3? Alright. Now guys, it's getting darker and darker. Okay, now pretty clear. They've just changed course again.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Just changed course again. Hey Volvolo, so I just made some detailed study on the zigzagging of convoys in the year of 1942. So they're actually not only following the straight course like they did in the past, but they do some kind of 90 degrees shifts, always 45 degrees towards their original course. So I had been watching that convoy over a long time with hydrophone checks, which gave me the large scale course, but now that I am close in, I see that they are doing some frequent zigzagging. And I think they don't do it because we are. It's not this small frequency wiggling, high frequency wiggling that they do when they spot a submarine, but it's some kind of a standard thing. No. It's not this what they do. They do this left, right, changing the rudder when the sub is around, but this is more like they go for 10 minutes straight ahead and then do a 90% change, 90 degrees change of course, and after 10 minutes again, and it's all 45 degrees to their general movement course. So like, yeah, we have Super 5 and weight loss in the game, in the chat. So Super 5 weight loss. Could you confirm that later in the war they actually do this more or less as a standard?
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
So if I want to be on a perpendicular course, right now they're on this leg here. Okay, all the torpedoes are well maintained. I have 3 electrically driven torpedoes and 1 steam driven torpedo. Now let's see until we have finished the turning, and maybe we might be now in the position to actually do the final. Yeah, maybe not. Let's see. Hey, Black Fox. Great to have you in. Good evening. How are you doing? Well, it's evening around here. I think it's late afternoon around your place, right? Yeah, it's 12:30 around here. Yeah, early evening at your place, I guess. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, job-wise, I had an okay day. Not too much trouble. Just, yeah, as I usually do, on Friday, I'm doing home office. And I do have a few online meetings, and they were all right. And yeah, that's it. Pretty okayish day, and right now I am eager to sink that ship. But now in the darkness I'm a bit hesitant. Oh shit. Now it's so dark. And don't quite like what I see at the moment. They changed course again. They did change course again. Yeah, let's do the same. At the moment, I'm not that afraid anymore that they spot my periscope. Let's hope that I am correct with that. Be on the safe side and hide our periscope again.
Küstenchef, 45 Grad.
Turning around again. What was it? Something like 50 degrees. According to the map, now the distance would be 1 mile. Yeah, maintenance status is alright. Still. Hey, Pit, that's so lovely. Thanks for the raid. That's very much appreciated. And all of you guys, great to have you in. Welcome, guys. So you just come in a 100% critical situation. So there is a convoy. We are just in the middle of a convoy, and we are trying to track down one of that ships. It's a C5, and that C5 is, well, I figured out after hours. I did hydrophone check after hydrophone check, and figured out their general course, and now I see that this ship is zigzagging around the general course, and yeah, it's pretty hard, and by now it is getting dark, so I think it's gonna be pretty tough. And the guy must be somewhere there now. It is pretty hard to spot. And I am, meanwhile, I'm not in a very good angle of firing, so come on.
Alle Maschinen stopp.
Let's stop for now. Hey Pit, yeah. How are you doing? How was your stream actually? Doing some hardcore stuff? Like, yeah, permadeath still. Hey, okay, Super 5. You're completely right. Critical is not the right word, but we are in the final stage of sinking. Hopefully sinking that guy. Wow, 30k with a type 2, yeah. Respect. So with which year? So you started something and are pretty early in the war, I guess. Yeah, that's a lot. So was it? Yeah, okay. Was it maybe torpedoes, or were you lucky and you could kind of, yeah, send away teams, boarding teams, and sink ships by scuttling it? That's pretty effective. Always, and particularly in the beginning of the war, it is. Ah, shit, I almost see nothing. That's just so bad. And determining the distance is even worse. Just guesswork.
Aktualisieren. Entfernung 2, 4, 9, 4 Meter.
And they are gonna change course any minute again, I think. Yeah, now for watching the stream, I think it's pretty boring, because on the stream you might see even less than I do when we have this night approach. And there is an escort pretty close. There is an escort pretty close, and I think this is the guy that we are targeting at the moment. But just very hard to tell. And yeah, the problem is that for the attack periscope we can't put in any filters. So the distance is still more than 1 mile. Yeah, no clouds, but also no moon. Okay, so permadeath gone. You mean you continued playing anyway, yeah? Or did you actually restart? I mean, hedgehogs you get just pretty far into the war. So you did it, right? So when you got killed by a hedgehog, you were probably not playing in a Type 2 anymore, weren't you? But or that would be a nice challenge. That was something that Super 5 implied before he was asking the question how it would be to do the whole playthrough through the war in a Mark II. Yeah, okay, too bad. I never went that far into the war. Right now, here you see, right now I am in June 42, and I never went further into the war than that. and silent running, that means nobody is automatically caring for the maintenance. Maybe torpedo tube 4 should get a bit of maintenance. So please. Now it becomes harder and harder to spot the guys. Come on, give it a save. Yeah, what about the observation periscope? Let's take a look. I think we are pretty safe now in the darkness. Nobody would spot our periscope. Even if we have 2 periscopes up. Ooh, that's this one. It's so close, and it's still looning around there. Let's just hope that they wouldn't. Spot us. Okay, that's the guy, and right now they are turning around again, aren't they? Yeah, okay, I think the aperture of the observation periscope is much larger, so you get much more light into the observation periscope, and you could even do the filtering. So let's take that risk. Yeah, and we can't do the distance thingy on the observation periscope. That's the point. They're definitely changing course. Might be risky sooner or later that they run into us, right?
Küstenschiff 330 Grad. Küstenschiff 340 Grad. Küstenschiff 345 Grad. Handelsschiff 345 Grad. Korvette 15 Grad.
Yeah, okay. 2 permadeath runs out of 18. Yeah, it is. It is. All the respect. I mean, doing the whole thing from 39 to 45 on permadeath mode. I think it's even a wonder if you do 2 out of 8. And you must have spent quite a bit of time. How many hours do you have in the game? I think I do have something like 1,000, or I don't know, let me check. Yeah, not quite. 930 something. Yeah, okay, see, you have almost 3 times as many hours as I have. But still, that's really amazing to survive that. Yeah. And I think you also play it on relatively high difficulty level, don't you? stop? At the moment, I do have the feeling that they don't move at all. Come on.
Küstenschiff 325 Grad.
They're not moving anymore, aren't they? So it's 50 degrees. Let's change course. Minus.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Okay.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Start moving again. At the moment, it really likes that the convoy has stopped. They were moving, but right now, looks like they aren't moving anymore.
Küstenschiff 350 Grad. Küstenschiff 355 Grad.
Hey, if you ask me, they have stopped. They actually did stop.
Kurs setzen. Aktualisieren. Entfernung 1, 4, 3, 4 Meter. Winkel 9 rechts.
Shall we give it a try? This is pretty disadvantages. Ah, now.
Küstenschiff 65 Grad.
Is it moving again, or is it just me moving relatively to him?
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Korvette 70 Grad. Küstenschiff 65 Grad. Küstenschiff 65 Grad.
I think they stopped moving. They're not moving anymore. It's just me moving relative to them. Is it? Now it's 40 degrees. Like that. And they're moving like that. And they are pretty close by now. Could really be like that. So their angle on bow on us would be something like 75 degrees on starboard.
Aktualisieren. Winkel 7, 5, Bug rechts. Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung zum Ziel 9, 7, 1 Meter.
By the way, excuse me guys, I just have to be AFK for 1 minute. Don't go away, be back in 60 seconds. Yeah, for some reason it pretty much looks like that the whole convoy has stopped. Yeah, that's the point. Start over again. And then you never know when the new DLC drops in. Almost 50 degrees. Hey, by the way, I'm completely wrong. It's not a C3, it is actually just a coaster. Or is it a Liberty? It's a Liberty, isn't it? Yeah. What about the coaster? No, definitely not that one. It's a Liberty. And I think the speed by now is 0. degrees.
Kurs setzen. Kursunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung zum Ziel 5, 6, 3 Meter.
They have actually stopped. Pretty sure they did. Ah, okay. We need to do some maintenance again. So now it is 10 degrees something. And if they are on a course like that, should be 88. Yeah.
Aktualisieren. Winkel 9,0. Bug rechts.
And there is the Union at
Knoten.
the Star Spangled Banner. Yeah, to be honest, as they did not give any date, I'm not 100% sure again. Yeah, not 100% sure anymore if we would get the DLC before end of the year. Not quite sure, I have to admit. So now, give it a save, and then we're gonna sink the guy. We are gonna sink the guy. Hopefully. I think 2 torpedoes should be enough. Yeah, of course, that would be great. I think there is this other submarine simulation, which is Wolfpack, and they are already multiplayer, but only you can handle one submarine or several submarines with friends in multiplayer, and I think they are, at least they were kind of speculating, thinking about doing it in also PvP, like that you could drop into not only the submarine role but also in the escort role. Alright guys, so now I want to get what's there. The rod is 7-2, so let's give it 8.
Rohr 1 bewässern.
Torpedo Rohr 4. Gewartet. Rohr 1. Bewässert.
Los. Rohr 3 bewässern. 40 Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag.
Rohr 3 bewässert.
Los. 40 Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag. 30 Sekunden.
Let's see what we get.
20 Sekunden. Feindliches Schiff getroffen. Feuer an Deck. Schwere Schäden.
Okay, fire on deck.
Schwere Schäden.
And the second one.
245 Grad. Zerstörer. 250 Grad.
335 Grad.
So give it a save.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloy? Kapitän. Herr Kapitän.
Okay, they're firing flares now. They are firing flares. Okay, the guy is sinking. The 2 hits should have done it. Should really have done it. I think the guy is going down. See, it's listing, it's burning on the deck. Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, okay. Never heard of that one, to be honest. That's amazing graphics, isn't it? Okay, see them firing flares to figure out where we are. And there you will see lifeboats out, so they are leaving the ship. Yeah, there we see them going down. Yeah, but still, if you ask me, it's a bug that they stopped moving, that all of these guys stopped moving. I think it's a bug. Oh, what would you guys say? I think you ran into that, right? I'm pretty sure that weight loss, you definitely told me that you ran into these convoys which just stop. And this is now the second time. I never had that before. I only ran into it here in this drumbeat mission set off the Canadian coast. And this is the second convoy where the ships just stopped. Yeah, Volvolo, yeah. Okay, so where did you have it? Did you have it also in earlier parts of the campaign? Because I ran into this the very first time when I went across the Atlantic and did this advanced mission here in the year of 42. Did you actually have it earlier also? Or is it a kind of a later game issue? By the way, we are not BEBF. Okay, so pretty far close to our side, say European side of the Atlantic.
Ziel Seerohr besetzen.
Yeah, okay, the flood patch. You mean that patch where they kind of changed the mechanism, the sinking mechanism of the ships, right? Okay, so with this we finally got the mission goal, so theoretically we could go back, but it would be a pity after having gone all the way over the Atlantic. Maybe, and we still have a load of torpedoes, would be a pity to just get back. Let's see if we can sink some more guys. Okay, there is another one dead ahead.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Yeah, okay, yep. Okay, since then, you think, since then they have this issue that sometimes the whole convoys just stop. Well, what do you think? How would you handle that? I mean, at the last time, I have to admit that I actually did take advantage of that bug. And right now, yeah, I am just about doing that as well. What would you say? Do you think it's a bad move to take advantage of that bug, or do you by yourself just used to use the bug? Yeah, see over there that the only ships that are moving are the men of war, I think. Yeah, right. Let's just see that we sink a few of these ships. Yeah, so it's no active cheating. But this guy is coming in. Let's just hope that he's not moving towards us. I think that's not a corvette, that's a grown-out destroyer. And if you ask me, it looks a bit like he is turning in towards us. That's coaster just as well. Velocity again 0. Angle on bow is guesswork, something like that. And the distance, I can't tell. Let's hope that they can't spot our periscope. Let's get down with this one. And I hate it. I really hate this. Why don't I see anything at the moment?
Küstenschiff, direkt voraus. Küstenschiff, 355 Grad. Küstenschiff, 350 Grad.
I want to go for you, guy. There he is. Distance, I don't know, something like that.
Aktualisieren. Entfernung 1175 Meter. Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung 1418 Meter. Küstenschiff 285 Grad.
Okay, the guy is circling around us. And he's going flank speed.
Küstenschiff 55 Grad. Küstenschiff 40 Grad. Küstenschiff 5 Grad.
That's him, isn't it? Minus 40 degrees roughly on the map. So something like that. Let's change course. By the way, what's the maintenance status of the torpedoes? All right. So I think I'm gonna take torpedo 1 and 3. First firing 1 and 2. First firing 2.
Aktualisieren. Entfernung 970 Meter. Aktualisieren. Lage 5, 2, links.
Alright. Let's go for it.
Ohr 2 bewässern.
Liberty, yeah, let's take 8. Rod of 8.
Rohr 2 bewässert.
Los. Ohr 1 bewässern.
Rohr 1 bewässert.
Los. Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag. Ja. 40 Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag. 30 Sekunden.
There it goes. Oh.
10 Sekunden bis Einschlag.
What was that? Why did it not?
Fehlschuss.
Okay, weird. Why didn't I get a hit? Okay, because it's not a Liberty, but a coaster. And the draught of the coaster is just, 3 something 4. Alright.
Rohr 3 bewässern.
Rohr 3 bewässert.
Los. Rohr 4 bewässern.
Yeah. They were
40
too
Sekunden bis
deep.
Torpedoeinschlag. Los. Sekunden. Treffer.
Yeah,
Schwere Schäden.
nice. That was a hit. Heavy damages.
Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag.
They are already sinking.
Feindliches Schiff getroffen.
Yeah.
Schwere Schäden. Kurs setzen. Die Besatzung evakuiert das Schiff.
Give it a save. And hey guys, I need to be AFK just for 1 more minute. Alright, back again. Thanks for your patience. It's great to see that you're still in. There were more ships there. Maybe this one might be the next one I would like to sink. But let's check something on the map. What's our overall tonnage by now? 70,000, and that's, I think, still without the last one because it didn't yet finally sink. But yeah, the coasters are relatively small. I think they just give you maximum 3,000 tons. No, did I save? What's that? What was that noise? Yeah, it is risky what I'm doing here. I'm not sure. It might be that there is one ship on our tail at the moment. Okay, them firing flares again. That was them. Now we need to go for that one. Another coaster, velocity 0 just as well. Angle on bow pretty exactly 90 degrees, I think. And the distance, yeah, I don't care. We could fire a torpedo from here. I would be very curious if it would be a hit. Yeah, hey guys, it's so great to have so many people in the stream. I'm just a small streamer with some small community. So I'm always glad to have someone like Pitt doing a raid. So guys, great that you dropped in, and yeah, if anybody would like to leave me a follow, of course that would be highly appreciated. But yeah, don't feel pushed. But I'm always happy also to get some comments in the chat, which we had. Or you guys who just lurk silently, that's perfectly fine just as well. Just love that feeling that some people are watching, some people are caring what I do around here. So, yes. First identified, yeah, it is a coaster.
Kursunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung 1, 5, 3, 2 Meter.
W199. Let's do a new save. I do have the gut feeling that there are evil Knievels around, but well, we don't know. Okay, the torpedoes are still loading. That's good. Thank you very much. The other one will be loaded soon. Yeah, there is propellers around of men of war, of escorts.
Tor 2 geladen.
Zielmotoren besetzen.
Erledigt, Kommandant.
Tor 1 bewässern. Los. Tor 2 bewässern. Los.
No. Yeah, I wasted 2 torpedoes because I just didn't recognize the proper draught of the ship. But I mean, all the other torpedoes actually did hit, so my hit ratio on this mission up to now is pretty high, I would say.
Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag. Sekunden. Der Torpedo ist auf halbem Weg. 20 Sekunden. 40 Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag. 10 Sekunden bis Einschlag. 30 Sekunden.
7, 6. Okay, the distance estimation wasn't that bad. Sechzehn, 15, 14, 13, 10, 9. Serious damage. All right. So I think now it's time to sneakily get away from the scenery, from the scenery of the crime. Let's give it another save. Yeah, we are still alright. Battery capacity is 88%. Well, air quality is actually going down. We are down to 50%. Almost. As usual, the air quality is the most limiting factor. Yeah, they still detected us. Not. So I really think about not diving. Maybe as long as we are pretty close to the surface, we might be pretty hard to detect for them. Okay, now guys, you can take a rest. Oh yeah,
Geortet.
there they got us. So maybe now it would be the right point in time to
Tauchen auf.
do a bit
120
of diving.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter.
That was just one single ping. It is pretty deep around here. We are still pretty far away from the continental shelf.
20 Meter.
So if we sink around here, there is unfathomable depth underneath us. Nothing to stop our descent. Okay, that was something like 4,500 tons in total. So we are half through to the next milestone.
Geben Alarm.
Das wird nicht einfach. Aber wir haben schon Schlimmeres überstanden. Lasst uns ruhig bleiben.
Now they sound pretty close, actually.
Tauchen auf. 130 Meter.
65 Meter.
Tauchen. 130 Meter.
Here the propellers, that's a warship
Aktuelle Tiefe
closing in.
20 Meter.
That's a warship closing in. Don't know if they are aware of where exactly we are, but it pretty much sounds like they are homing in for a final drop. Battle stations.
90 Meter. Aktuelle Tiefe 100 Meter.
Yeah, alright, that's good. Oh shit.
Wir wissen, wie es geht. Drehen wir den Spieß gegen diese Jäger um.
110 Meter. Meter.
At least we got away. And we had the time to dive away. But still down here. Might be critical.
Meter. Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 55 Grad.
55 degrees, yeah, okay. Like there. Yeah, more there.
125 Meter.
Hallo, wir wurden entdeckt. Zeit, unseren Mut zu testen, Männer.
Yeah, now we are taking water down here. Even without a leak, we actually constantly have water seeping in. And over time, that also starts to become a problem.
Ich benötige Ihre Unterstützung. Folgen Sie mir.
Verstanden. Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloy. Keine Panik. Konzentriert euch.
Yeah, let them do it. Yeah, they're so close, but I still think that they don't have any clue where we are. They're just guessing. And they didn't drop a single depth charge yet. Yeah, it's still completely uncritical, but have an eye on the water in the bilge, just slowly, very slowly increasing. So sooner or later it will flip to 50. Yeah, compressed air pressure considerably reduced. We use that pressure to fire the torpedoes. That's actually how it works. You use compressed air to push the torpedoes out of the torpedo tubes. We have one torpedo fore left and two astern. Yeah. There we are already at 52. So very slowly increasing. We have to keep an eye on that. Let's see if we can sneakily get away from them. At last, they have to stick to their convoy. They cannot infinitely hunt us. The convoy is moving. Well, I just wanted to say the convoy is moving on, and they have to follow it. But the escort has to follow it. But yeah, particularly this convoy here is not moving, so it's more tricky to get away from the escort in this case. Okay, that's relatively uncritical because this sound is only flares, no depth charges. That was just flares being fired up there. Sounds like they are coming in closer and closer.
Bleibt wachsam, aber keine Panik. Wir machen das schon.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually my strategy. When they're right above me, I just go flank speed and change course for 90 degrees. And when they're right above me, oh shit, depth charges. When they are right above you, they shouldn't be able to hear you. Their propeller noise would mask ours. So that's actually the point where you can go flank without any much risk, I think. Hey, weight loss. Okay, there they were astern. I think I saw some explosions. These explosions are at the moment I'm pretty lucky. The angle of their sensors, yeah, right. Yeah, it's great if they are dropping and just don't hit me. Sooner or later they might hopefully be out of ammo. So let's get back to Kleine Fahrt. Let's do the sneaky thing again. By the way, let's switch to manual dive planes down here. We don't need the electric support. It's less accurate, but down here it just doesn't matter.
Aktuelle Tiefe
77 liters in the bilge. Give it a save and never played that one. Rome 2? I don't know. Kind of a strategy game, I guess. Hey, come. They are dropping. They are dropping on us. So fingers crossed that they don't have a clue where we are exactly or what our depth exactly is. Now I went back to flank speed, changing course again for 90 degrees. Let's hope that this helps to avoid them. Wow, they are dropping like hell. Now they are giving us hell. But luckily up to now, they ended up in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, we did sink quite a lot of ships, so the escort is pretty pissed off and wants to get us sunk. Well to understand. So, well, come on guys, I just have to be AFK for 1 more minute. This might take a little bit longer, so I think I'm gonna get maybe one little late night snack. That will only take 60 seconds, so let's say 120 seconds. Alright, back again. Yeah, brace yourselves, everybody. The snack, exactly, weight loss. So, please excuse me, guys. Just got me some ham sandwich. And I'm gonna molest you a bit with munching noises. Yeah, flag speed again. Oh no. Hey, Chainsaw, yeah. I'm just constantly sending, transmitting. Yeah, hey, Chainsaw. How are you doing? Nice to have you in. Good evening. So, how was your day? Did you have a smooth slip into the weekend? Sorry, I'm just having my late night dinner.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Yeah, okay, alright. So, wasn't completely free the day off, but doing some of the chores at home. Yeah, you need these days. Again and again. Okay. Water in the bilge. More than 100.
Schneller.
Kommandant, wir wurden von Estik geortet.
Yeah, they're really going hard after us. Yeah.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Yeah, now here we are. 130 meters depth, being chased by a load of something like, I think it's 3 or 4 men of war escorts which are chasing us. Actually dropping on us pretty hard. Yeah, come on, guys. Fingers crossed. What about air quality? Is almost 50%, 50% still. And yeah, battery capacity is completely uncritical. And discipline is alright, just as well. Being hunted gives us a debuff. The depth gives us a massive debuff. And yeah, that we have addressed. Work to all the Off-Watch crew.
Unseren Mut zu testen, Männer.
Also gives us a debuff in discipline. And no food preparation, actually. Of course, yeah, we are on alarm. By the way, I just see the number of watches going up again. Great to have you in, guys. Don't hesitate to join the chat, even though the chat might look pretty private, it isn't. Just don't hesitate to give any feedback, or if it is just a hi. And yeah, always love to get some comments onto the gameplay, or the game in general. You see us being in deep shit right now, having quite a few escorts chasing us, and we are down here at, yeah, something like 130 meters. And trying to get away. Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Last night I put myself right in front of that convoy. And this is all about that convoy. I infiltrated it and sank a few ships, and now they are after me. Hey, Chainsaw, that's wonderful. That's really, yeah, that's kind of reassuring, or pretty nice to get that feedback from you, from the watches that you're actually following, and really get the stream and follow up of the action. And that's this. I mean, this is why U-Boat is particularly, and like we had the discussion something like an hour ago, and U-Boat is, in a way, it is a nerdy game. So all we guys, we really have to be kind of aficionados to follow that stream, and yeah, this kind of realistic flow of events. Oh shit. So they are getting us. They are not leaving us, not letting us get away at the moment. So, you see, I fired all but one torpedo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I think all but 2 actually did hit. And how many ships did I sink out of that convoy? 3 or 4? I'm not quite sure, I have to admit. Yeah, Paul. Nice to see that you're still there. So I guess you have been playing some DayZ in between, have you? What is it? Steam hardware? Weight loss, to be honest. Yeah, I am not, because up to now I never knew what it is about. Yeah, that's it. It's always the problem. Always the problem that you're lacking hard drive space, right? Oh shit, they're dropping. They are dropping. Come on, guys. Hope that we get away. Shall we go to 50? 150 meters? Because now I'm really having a bad feeling. Yeah, these most noisy bangs, they are just flares. Hey guys, sooner or later they have to be running out of depth charts. Okay, this is a Steam game station. Yeah, the VR headset, yeah. Yeah, sounds pretty amazing. So I have to admit that I am not yet thinking about going VR, but on a technological point of view, that sounds pretty amazing. Yeah, chainsaw, they should run out of soon. They're dropping now since a while. And yeah, let's get back to. Yeah, I never want to stay that deep for a while because we just have too much water seeping in when you are going deeper.
145 Meter.
Yeah, I'm still a bit old school about my hardware. I'm fine with the mic, with speakers, a screen, and my PC. That's perfectly fine for me.
Meter.
But I'm pretty amazed when I see what you do weight loss with the headset and with this whole walking rig. That really makes me curious on this technology.
Meter.
Yep. Yeah, actually, you are the first guy that I watched doing VR. And what I see, what you do is pretty fascinating. So I wasn't aware that VR games are so far already in graphics.
Schraubengeräusche direkt über uns.
Okay.
Achtung, sehr nah.
Schneller, schneller.
Aktuelle Tiefe
Tauchen
25
auf.
Meter.
150 Meter.
Hey, come on. And they are still dropping.
Kommandant, wir wurden von Elfen geortet.
Yeah, come on, chainsaw. You're so right, they must be run out of depth charts sooner or later.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
150 Meter.
Tauchen auf. 120 Meter. Tauchen auf. 130 Meter.
They do have, haven't they?
145 Meter. Schraubengeräusche direkt über uns.
Schneller, schneller.
135 Meter.
We are approaching 200 liters in the bilge.
Keine Panik. Konzentriert euch auf eure Aufgabe.
130 Meter.
Hey, chainsaw, yeah, I think that's how it is. I think the game is, to that aspect, I think it's persistent. Or they just stop following the convoy when they run out of depth charts. So I never 100% knew, but I actually happened to see that escorts were just abandoning their convoy, and when I attacked the convoy one day later again, it was completely stripped of escorts. So maybe because they ran out of depth charts and went back home. But yeah, that's not 100% clear. But I think this is heated in the game. Yeah, White lost, right? They're leaving the convoy then, yep. That's what I observed in the past. Shall I get a save? W200. So what would be the convoy achievement if you kill a whole convoy.
Aktuelle Tiefe 125 Meter. 130 Meter. Kommandant, wir wurden von Estik geortet. Schraubengeräusche direkt über uns.
Schneller. Kurs setzen.
Okay. I don't think that I ever did that. Yeah, that must be pretty tough. Usually if there is a convoy with 10 or more ships, it's like, I think, 3 or 4 of them, and maybe 1 or maximum 2 of the escorts, but not more. Pretty sure that I never sank something like 10 ships out of a convoy. Yeah, air quality is down to 44%. 0.0%. Yeah, but it's always amazing when you get one of these achievements in UBOAT. It's always like this information that only something like 1% or 3% of the players actually have it. So I'm always pretty surprised how low these numbers are. $213. Oh yeah.
Schneller.
Yeah, I was always thinking about, is it that so few people are actually playing the game systematically that these relatively easy achievements are still only 6% of the player community? That's my guess. That the game sells, but a lot of people are not actually playing it regularly. Yeah, where is the DLC? Yeah, they are detecting us all the time. But maybe they ran out of ammo, out of depth charges.
Wasserbomben, sehr nah.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
I could go deeper, yeah, but the deeper I go, the more water is slowly seeping into the bilge, and the faster this really makes a problem out of it.
Aktuelle Tiefe 135 Meter.
Okay, still some ships with depth charts available. Yeah, I could go considerably deeper, but
Kommandant, wir wurden von SD geortet.
don't think that it would make much of a difference at the moment.
Kleine Fahrt voraus. Tauchen auf. 130 Meter.
145 Meter. Aktuelle Tiefe 140 Meter.
Feindliche Schiffe geben Alarm. Bleibt wachsam, aber keine Panik. Wir machen das schon.
130 Meter.
Yeah. This can still take a while. What about the food? Yeah, we're still perfectly fine in terms of food. It just doesn't make a difference at the moment because when we are on alarm, yeah, you think so? It's bugged, this achievement thing. Yeah, alright guys, so we had a successful run. We intercepted that convoy. We infiltrated it. We sank 3 or 4 ships. And now we just have to get away alive with the boat. And at that point, I'm gonna call it a day. Yeah, I just recognize I'm getting tired. I've been doing a bit of streaming all the week, so always a bit of limited sleep in the last nights. And yeah, now I just recognize that it takes its toll and I have to go to bed. I can sleep long tomorrow, so I'm gonna enjoy having a sleep of something like 8 hours maybe. And to be honest, this week I didn't have 8 hours. It was something like 6 hours in average, I would say. And yeah, if we are honest with ourselves, 6 hours is at an average over several days is just a bit less, a bit, yeah, bit not enough. And yeah, now around here it's 2:30, so give me something like 8 hours of sleep and I'm gonna be fine again. Hey, weight loss. Yeah, but I mean on average, if on average you are below 6 hours over something like like 2 weeks or something. Yeah, well, yep. But for myself, I really have to admit, if I constantly have considerably less than 6 hours of sleep per day, per night, I really recognize how kind of my abilities are deteriorating, my abilities to concentrate, and also my abilities to bear the bullshit of colleagues and stay friendly. So if I don't have enough sleep over a long time, I also get like, yeah, how would you call it? Just getting pissed off more quickly by idiots around me. And usually it doesn't help much. I mean, we all have some idiots around us, and it just doesn't help to get pissed off by them. You just have to kind of, yeah, exactly, that's it. And then, no grumpy Josh, exactly. And yeah, that's why now and then I really need something like a good 8 or 9 hours sleep. Yes. Yeah, okay. So guys, I love you. It's so lovely to have these chats that we have. I enjoy that so much. So guys, let's give this final save here. We are really taking a lot of water by now. And yeah, thanks very much. I'm gonna call it the end. By the way, no stream tomorrow from my side because we are at the place of my the parents of my wife, because my wife's father is celebrating. Yeah, it's not a big celebration, just a small one, but still, he just turned 80. And so we are gonna have a drive of something like 5 hours tomorrow to get to his place and stay overnight and then get back on Sunday. So no stream tomorrow. Alright guys, it was a pleasure. See you and have a good weekend.